All right. Hello there. Welcome back to Shooting Out the Tesla. Today we're going to run some errands because, after our trip from West Virginia, we got hella dirty. We got hella spiders. That's another thing. Like the amount of spiders that hitched a ride on my vehicle, they were like, oh man, this guy, where he's at, I want to be at. There's so much bug opportunities out there that I need to hitch a ride in his car. And then the gracious Teslian was like, oh sure bro, sis, whatever, however you want to identify yourself. Yeah, sure. I'm sure there's plenty of bugs out there in West Virginia, but maybe what is in life and that you want to see more. So, the tale of the immigration spider from West Virginia is as old as, oh my fucking gosh. It was a red light. He's like one of those yellows to red. But anyway, we're going to go out to Leesburg. It's going to be a 40 minute drive to go. Well, okay. So, in this Tesla, I drive essentially for free. Not free, but I don't pay for my electricity. So, yeah, I outsource the electricity so other people pay for it. It's the great thing about living in America. Other people are paying for your liberties. It's amazing. And if you're paying for gas nowadays, I think, yeah, you're taking the L. Like, let's be real. Money is pointless at a certain point. And, yes, I drive for free. So I'm gonna take that. Maybe that's where I spend all my money. I spend it on a camera instead of I spend it on a camera, not the lens yet. I don't know. I'm still debating on getting a lens. Because if I want to produce a good lens, then maybe I should go buy a lens that is like well made. Anyway, since I don't pay for gasoline or I don't pay to drive anywhere due to my financial circumstances of, gaming the system, I just drive wherever is the best price. You might be thinking, oh, but it's going to devalue the car because you drive. The car is meant to be driven, and I'm not really driving it anyway, so it is what it is. This is supposed to be 35 or something. This is why I hate 7. But I'm going to go to a car wash that's like $5. Oh man, I don't know why this. So for $5, I'm just like, oh, it's a self-serve wash. So, I gotta put a little bit of work in. But it's also great because I can clear my floor mats. I like to wash my floor mats once in a while, like once a month. But I mean, since the West Virginia trip, I gotta like wash the car really well. So it's only gonna cost me like $5, $6. So do with that what you will. But you see, a lot of the times, this is technology, and I am also rocking a fun little LUTs that I made. Oh my god. I had it balanced before, but I guess, I don't know. But yeah, I made a homemade LUTs. It was kind of oh man, it's actually a pain to like color grade yourself and make your own LUTs. Like, it is a lot of work. But yeah, but it's a lot of fun. So I guess I don't know. it just sucks that like it just takes like 30 minutes per like. It's like because I'm coding the LUTs, because I'm not like using whatever. So I'm trying to like, I do visualize it, but it's such a, you know, I don't know. It's such a thing. I don't know, like it's hard to like relate, I guess, because a lot of people aren't even developing things in general. Like I don't get like how you're in today's technology and you're not learning to like at least code something. Because like if you don't, then you're just going to be submitting to the developers. And you know, some people like myself, you know, they're good. You know, we just cry about I don't know, about useless crap. And some people who are developers, you know, they just want to milk you of every penny that you got. You know, I am a gracious developer, you know. Oh man, of course. You know, I just like to maybe spread the word, spread the joy. That, oh man, I don't know why I always get nervous when the car like pivots so much. I don't know. But yeah, I think if you're working with today's cameras, and right now I'm trying to work on well, I have gotten the photo LUTs, but I'm trying to do it so in such a way that I'm shooting raw files, because I am okay, this is like the kicker, like I am shooting raws, but the issue is that I have to physically push the button. I have gotten it down for the remote shooting. Oh man, I'm gonna have to, man, I should have. Such a pain with this. Like the remote shooting, I've gotten down, but I can't be tethered. Like it's like essentially I'm tethering myself to the machine, and I can't really tether a camera to a car machine. Well, I mean, you get a Tesla and you'll understand. You can, but it's not to the same devices that you can do, because for some reason Tesla would just, a few times I have developed some random crap in my Tesla, and then like my car just like, I'm just like chilling in my car, you know, it's like 11 p.m. and then my car just shuts down and I'm just like, what the fuck? And then it restarts itself and I'm like, and then I guess the next morning, because I guess they just don't want you to make you assume that you did something. But the Tesla is like, oh man, this fucking metal plates. But the Tesla is like, hey, I know what you're doing, so we're going to make you feel paranoid, but you're not actually changing. And then the next morning, the thing that I was doing before does not work anymore. So that is my fault, you know, that's my fault for being, you know, I guess trying to manipulate my Tesla software or the inner workings of how the machine works. And focusing is like, it's like when you're with someone and you're kind of like just fixing their face, but you don't really fixing their face, you're just touching their face. But in the inner workings of Tesla software, that I've noticed that every time I try to do something, the Tesla software is like nope, and then it restarts my computer, or you know, the machine, the Tesla, and essentially all that time is just wasted. And I feel like I'm just developing stuff to like, you know, help them like do their job. So I just like kind of gave up. I'm just like, okay, now I gotta just, the only thing I can do really is to offload, you know, no more payloads of information. So it is what it is, you know, I can't, just one of those things, you know, you can't do anything about it. It's like you signed that thingy, the papers, when you know, the agreements of whatever Tesla can do. I don't blame them though. They're just doing their job. I'm just messing around with the computer. But yeah, that is the dilemma. So that is what I'm trying to think. That's why I was thinking like, oh, maybe I have to like have a built-in machine to supplement, because it's like, I don't know, like I get it, there's external, like I can shoot the RAW and I can do it on my PC. I haven't tried the Mac yet because I don't want to develop too many crap. Like it's just too time consuming to just cross develop crap. But yeah, I was able to shoot RAW format in a you know, I hooked it up to a computer and everything. I'll showcase some video, so cue in the video footage of some squirrel. But yeah, this is over, it's 3,000 photos, 3,000 raw files. And yeah, I used one of the LUTs thing, like well, it's hard to explain, but I was able to imprint a LUT onto the raw images. Well, I mean, like it's just in conjunction. Like it's kind of like a smoothie mix. You know, I'm just pressing the blender, and it's creating the smoothie, which is aka the movie. But yeah, because you know, you learn a lot, I guess, when you're working with the newest tech. And you know, I feel like, again, it's like nobody else is like posting first in the world. I was first in the world in 65,535 Kelvin, but I guess nobody cares. I don't know. It's just what it is. Like I'm not trying to be viral, because I know what is known, and the camera is a good validator of information. So yeah, it is what it is, right? No, I'm lighting this bad. But yeah, and this, there you can see my face. But yeah, I've been trying to work. The hardest part really is just to work on the skin tones when you make your own LUTs. And yeah, 20 more miles. But yeah, that's like my next goal, because essentially it's making like a silent film, which I find hilarious, because it's like, I don't know, like they put in these little things that like remind you of like the beginnings of like camera systems, because you know, you have to build upon the camera system in itself, right? And I think, I don't know, some things of course change, but then a lot of the things like still stay the same, which I find, I don't know, I just find it entertaining to myself. Because again, it's just like programming. Like it's just like if you don't have it in your mind of how film was developed and how you even develop a print or whatever, then it's kind of gonna translate to whatever you're shooting with and you're taking photos. Again, this is why I chose the, you know, global shutter. Like, I just couldn't be bothered with. I'll still rock my Sony a9iii, but like I just can't be like, at a certain point you have to forgo the money, because money is becoming more and more useless. If everything is getting higher price, that must mean something. Like, it's not inflation. It must mean that the cost of goods sold, services bought and sold, is diminished to useless, right? In other countries, how are they able to sell you a potato at like a 20th of the cost of a potato in America compared to America, right? Like at a fraction of a cost. It's because it's all just relative marketing and relative economics. Like, if you look at this camera, for example, it is priced differently per area, even though everyone... But why is the potato cheaper over there? You see what I mean? The potato and other goods that are easily reproducible through means of the production is highly scalable for many industries, but not for tech. And I think a lot of tech, at least, right? And a lot of people, I guess, aren't willing to just accept that, because you got to think back in the day, right? We used to be hunters and gatherers, then we became farmers, right? Because the ultimate goal was to provide safety and to provide more things for, you know, so we can have more humans, essentially, right? And a lot of the times, it was just new tech that propelled people into the spotlight of being advanced civilizations. That it can be debated as well, because what is an advanced civilization? I don't know. But it's essentially like, if you have a Tesla, it's an electric car, sure, whatever, it gets you from A to B, but the process of how it gets you from A to B changes the trajectory of my situation in the timeline, right? People want to talk about, people love talking about, what is it called? People love talking about multiple timeline theories. Yeah, see, this is what I don't get too. I don't know why it's just being so aggressive nowadays. This freaking... But you have to realize that I think at a certain point, if you can still produce the same thing, sure, still use the old tech. But if you're creating more opportunity, I think that in general will just produce better results. You as a, you know, as a human in general, you as a being, because like, again, it's like a lot of people might be thinking like, oh, why are they put on this world, or some whatever nonsense. And if the term is like cameras, everybody, I mean it, every single human that is watching these camera videos are trying to scope and look at what is the content. Okay, so maybe, but it's ultimately though, they're just looking at camera stuff, and you know, maybe they just want to look at the looks and whatnot. So I'm providing that as well. But the main concern that most people come across is that, like, oh, I can still do greatness with my camera. I mean, yes, you can, of course. I'm not saying you can't. But if you are very dismissive about like how technology is in general, that just means, oh, you shouldn't buy the newest phone, or like you shouldn't buy the newest laptop or whatever. If the laptop can still render the same image as it would have with the newer version, right? Like an older Mac version, like even the newer Mac version doesn't even it doesn't render out the Apple logo correctly, in the sense that it's like, that is a predated technology that they fixed because it was a bug. It's not really a bug. You just got to know and understand how computing works. But a lot of the time, it's like, if the render takes me 10 hours versus like 4 hours, but I still get the same result of the render, if the output is the same, then the journey of it might not matter, right? Like, if I take a bunch of raw images, right? I'm taking 3,000 raw images. It's a lot. It's a huge file. Don't get me wrong. But that is just like the case by case basis of what has to be done when it comes to getting the best quality of imagery. Okay? That is just like, so it's like, that is like the gripe about the a9iii is that you just have to pay a lot of money. But if I am foregoing that money and then trying to inflict it other ways, like, I don't spend my money on anything else. Like, I used to fall into that trap, but I've grown. I've become an adult. I started not caring about things, you know. I'm wearing other people's clothing. You know, it's like to the point that, like, sure, but I could be more whatever, personalized, etc. But, like, you know, I care about some other things, and to get where I want to go, I guess I have to forgo fancy new clothes or eating expensive dinners or amongst other things, because we have to, like, because if you had the funds or the means, like they were saying, oh yeah, just, you know, you go to those Sony events and, like, yeah, you just choose whatever camera you want, you'll just take it home, keep it, just keep it, you know, and then when you're done with it, then you can return it back to us. But I mean, it's ultimately almost yours, you know. So you would be choosing the highest spec camera 9 times out of 10. The only reason you wouldn't is if you want to have a certain factor that is irreplaceable. So maybe the small form factor, or maybe the lens choices, or maybe but there's always an adapter, right? You see, there's always like a little thing to it to create whatever. When it comes to physical means, it's just not possible, right? Like, so far, it's the only camera with the ARW5 color science. So, and to really push it, I was like looking at it through the Zeiss, and I was like, oh dang, like, it just looks so much nicer this way. And just shooting in 3000 raw images is just like, it's just amazing looking. So it's like, you're missing out on opportunities, you know. If there was no penalties in life, or if people weren't scared of the penalties, usually the penalties are just like money, and that can, like, really, like, you know, that's another avenue of talk. But yeah, I think people need to just not be afraid about a lot of things, because you live in America. There's no reason to be afraid. Like really, like, it's nothing compared to the real world of, like, outside. Okay, so if you're too afraid of spending money that you won't, like, you'll get that money back. And then if you say, like, oh, in this economy, no, this, again, a lot of people think they need something, but they don't actually need it. Like, you don't need this nice camera, but ultimately I'm creating history with it. So you do what you will with that information. But a lot of the state of mind isn't the healthiest, right? Of course, if you like to yeah, I kind of derped there. I was like, oh, if I turn off the AC, whatever. But yeah, the camera overheated. But yeah, I think I'll be done with that kind of rant about technology. I think, of course, but, you know, you live in America, so I guess just, like, you know, save a bit more and work a bit longer. Like, to tell you my story of whatever. But yeah, I guess we can go and just, like, I guess react and just my thoughts about also the Tesla event. So recently there was, like, the Tesla, because I am in the Tesla, so we might as well talk about Tesla stuff. My thoughts with the Tesla Robotaxi event. Yeah, it was an event, that's for sure. I do enjoy Tesla, like, just to preface, I do enjoy all Tesla events, even if it's, why that guy just drove through a red, and he's a Prius. Like, come on, man. You're a Prius. You don't drive like you're a Prius owner. But the thing is, during the Tesla events, I enjoy them all because they're very programmer, developer oriented. Like, it's like you watch it and you're like, oh, you know, the guys who developed it, and, you know, the video stuff, and then the jokes and whatever, it's all just very, like, developer humor, I think. because I think that's like the main, like, I think at a certain point, people who do work on Teslas as well, they realize like, hey, we are just creating a machine, a tool for us humans so that we can live better lives. And I guess more productive lives. And, you know, I do enjoy, so from the initial beginning, he took a knot off and he shook the hand of an astronaut. Nobody's talking about that. I mean, it was a cool astronaut suit. I am even thinking about, what if I made my own like Tesla suit? Wouldn't that be cool? Tesla jumpsuit. I don't know. I'll talk to, you know, maybe I'll try to sew stuff. I'm not the best sewer, but at least enough. It'd be good enough on camera. But I don't think we should do a spacesuit since we're on America. You know, not America, but space. We're on land. I don't know. Might be better. I think for the sake of, you know, maybe I'll like, you know, it'll be paired with like some of that meta glasses or something. But the Tesla event was amazing. I thought it wasn't as hype, and I think that's what a lot of the media, because they've gone to the point where anything they do now is hype because it's so technically advanced that no other competitor in the automotive industry publicly showcasing. Like, you also got to remember that some companies are just not publicly showcasing because maybe they're owned by some conglomerate that is just like nasty and evil. When Tesla is essentially owned by themselves, they're kind of like the indie rock band group that suddenly became super famous, and then now they're just riding the wave of the famousness because yeah, since they're an indie rock group, they just have to make sure that they're, you know, I guess the shareholders are just happy. And even if you really think about the trajectory of where Tesla's going, it's like, even if you divest from Tesla, because they're still gonna make and do whatever the hell they do. Because you have to remember, they make rockets, so kind of irreplaceable as of today, in technology wise. And then you gotta remember, no one else is making a car that can drive on its own, right? Like, just nobody's doing so. So you have to put that in mind. So money is useless to Tesla, right? He's throwing away money. He's trying to give the people of NVIDIA more money so he can buy more GPUs. Because then it's like, oh, maybe the NVIDIA people can buy more workers to help make more GPUs, you know, or better machines, more machines, etc. So really, he's trying to buy as much time as he can, because I think, you know, when you get older, you start realizing, hey, I don't have that much time left, or it's just the existential crisis of the amount of limited time that we have on this earth, which is inevitable. With all living things, this is inevitable. But yeah, I do love that he had an astronaut suit, and then he walked inside the cyber taxi, the robo taxi. It's pretty much like a Waymo. But who knows? It might just be only for, I think in the future, since, like, for example, if a corporate environment owns that piece of land, then they just use it for themselves. Because you gotta think in the biggest of pictures that people are missing out. You have a vehicle that can drive itself from A to B. Now, if that A to B is what? One campus to another campus, one location to another location, right? A good example is an airport. If you have an airport, well, that's different because I guess the airport is owned by the government and stuff. But if allowed B, you could travel from A to Z, using that car, and you can haul a bunch of stuff. So, for example, let's say you're a farmer. You own 100 acres of land, right? You can have that farmer put in all that food. He just loads up the Tesla vehicle, the robo taxi, and then he hauls it from here to his farmer stand, or I guess, to the big truck that goes out to the city. It is always doable, but now it is extra doable, and you don't need a human to intervene with it. So essentially, you just call it up like any old taxi service, and then you just put in the goods. So I think a lot of the people, they're just missing out on, you know, the whatever, the looks of it or something. I don't know. It's meaningless stuff. They're not thinking of the function. But yeah, that's the trajectory of where it's going. So it's going to happen whether or not other people want to. And then you have to realize too, oh, essentially he's cutting out the market of what? He's creating a substitute to the market that actually can be replaced. Before, people thought it couldn't be replaced. Now it can be replaced. It's not a calculator. It's literally, it's doing with the stuff that people don't want to do anyway. So essentially, you're buying your time back. And if you can spend some money and you save yourself time, I think a lot of people already do that. So yeah. And essentially, if you think about it, if you think about the market share, that means he has increased his market share of means, of physical means. Because before, taxi service, but now the taxi service is a driverless taxi service. He's slowly creeping into different markets with his product lines. So it's like before, it was just rocket ships and cars. Now it's solar panels. Now it's power stations, you know? Before you know it, entire city grids could be powered by Powerwall or something similar of that mind, right? And I think that's like the bigger picture of what people need to like visualize. Like, you gotta be forward thinking with a lot of these things. And yeah, I think, I guess it was the next topic of the thing. I enjoy the Robovan the most because now you got someone in the RV industry, right, being scared. So if you're part of the RV industry, for example, and you invested your money into Tesla because your broker was like, yeah, Tesla shares Tesla to the moon. Now the RV guy's like, hey, pull out every single penny I have in Tesla, because now I have to invest into actual Tesla vans and vehicles, or else I'm going to be obsolete. Because what is the one issue with electrical or gas powered things is that it's just like, there's just so much maintenance in terms of like physical maintenance of like mechanical parts, right? You gotta buy gas. Nowadays you can just plug into something, you're essentially off the grid with solar panels. But yeah, a lot of the time people aren't kind of seeing the bigger-ish picture about. Alright, that was a good wash. A little 7 minutes. Yeah, that's what I like about this spot, is that the car washes are cheap. So yeah, I guess now there's a guy, homeless guy, chilling outside. It is what it is when you pay for cheapness, right? But I should. I always wait because, yeah, okay, that person had a handicap sign. But yeah, also again, yeah, got too hot. So overheating. I mean, that's actually like a funny issue too, because like that's the only reason why this camera. That's why like but like I think that's like all cameras though. Like that's just inevitable when you use the machine too long. Like we get a fan system, but we'll see how it is. Well, if it's super annoying, sure, I'll get a fan. Maybe I'll build myself a fan because I'm better at, I don't know. Unless the fan is like less than 20 bucks, I'll just build it myself. There's nothing too nutty to. It's literally just a computer fan. So yeah, and then they didn't even put like thermal padding. This is the #1 tip for computer people. Just thermal padding everything, because every surface can, you know, can conduct heat better than a thermal pad. So sometimes you know, because you gotta dissipate the heat, you know. So it's just what it is when it comes to computing, you know. My rock get hot. So yeah. But yeah, right now we just drying it off. Usually I just go for the rinse and then wash, rinse. So yeah, but it looks good though. And then it is nice as well, washing my floor mats. But anyway, I'm gonna get back to the Tesla Robotaxi event. Spacesuit, done. Everything else was like, whatever. He was just, you see, a lot of his talk, he's talking about like programming stuff. He kept reiterating 80%. I get that, I guess. When it comes to technology, I don't know. I want to say, like, statistically, you should. I mean, it's always been. You should always overcompensate for a machine when you're like configuring it, building it, etc. But 80% is a lot. But I think it's due to the, you know, I guess battery related stuff. So like energy consumption. So like, worst comes to worst, they have to use up to 20% extra energy, which is honestly more than enough, more than what you need. Like, if people like overclock their machine to the point that like it starts to fire, you know, you don't want to. I think every computer person's journey, they burn something through an electrical fire. It's just like a rite of passage. Like, you just got to do it. You just got to learn what the limit is, and then you got to be scared of fire again. You know what I mean? But yes, that's what I took out of it. And then the Robovan. Oh man, that will. If you're part of the RV industry, you should be scared, because yeah, in the next coming years, that will make it obsolete. Just like how everyone's regular car, now people are just buying EVs, because like, if you can purchase an EV, why not? Because again, if it costs me $0 to drive anywhere, it just mean like, just I gotta tell myself to drive. I don't know. I mean, I can't right now. There's too many. I don't know why there's so many cars here. This is so weird. You would think that this is like out in the country, less cars, but no, it just feels like there's more cars. It feels like it's Tyson's again. But yeah, I think I'll, I don't know, the Robovan is like a cool thing to think about, because it's like, yeah, it's gonna get rid of a lot of RVs, that's for sure. Like, whether people know it or not, it's going to revolutionize RVs in general. Because I know there's like some random ones that do well, I guess, on its own, but this is like a standalone one, so this would be like a cool RV that people could like retrofit and everything. So, because he made it very simple. The seats look way nicer too. So, but he didn't show any swivel seats. They could have added a swivel. I think that's like my only thing that I have to I have to I have to criticize is like, where's the swivel seats at? The seats look nice, but where are the swivel seats? He was like, I think swivel seats will be cool because then it's like it really brings back to the USS Enterprise or whatever. Like they had swivel seats. That's like the one thing that I remember about that show too. Like nice leather swivel seats, and then a dude in the middle swivel seat. Or no, he didn't have a swivel seat. But oh man, everyone's. But yeah, swivel seats are cool. So that's like my only gripe I want to say that I have against it. Because essentially he just took a bus and then he made it smaller, and then yeah, nothing new really. He just made it electric. And yeah, again, if I'm living off of zero cost electricity, then I'm assuming some other people are as well, right? So, and it looks cool because it looks like a Japanese train or something. I don't know. It looks like a train, like the head of the Japanese train. So that's cool. For all we know, they just turn into cable carts. You know, like maybe that's like who they're maybe trying to showcase it to, like the current train operators. They'll be like, wait, my costs, okay, like Amtrak for example, be like, wait, my costs can diminish and then the car drives itself as well? Why aren't trains driving themselves? You see what the dilemma that we face? It'll literally eliminate every single issue, so then it becomes only external issues. So the robo van will revolutionize the train industry. So you see what I mean? The Tesla products are literally cannibalizing other people's products and going to make it obsolete. So if you're a part of the train industry, you should purchase them. You should invest as much as you can, because at least it's like the same thing with Tesla right now. He's telling the NVIDIA people like, hey, here's all my money, but you are the one to supply me the GPUs first. You see, because you got to get ahead of the game. Because then what are you doing? You're writing history if you have all that power. And this is like computer history. This is stuff that is like, it's like beyond what we can imagine. So yeah, that's again why I'm just like, it's not that I love the Tesla brand. I don't care about the Tesla brand. I just care about the technology behind it. And it's, if you're an animal, you have to adapt, right? Because you may think, oh, I'm in a nice little area. No. I think even wealthy people are realizing it too. Their money is becoming less and less useful, right? Even if you go overseas, it's becoming less and less useful now. Like, it's because it's all about resources at that point. Because like GPUs and whatever, anyway. What I'm trying to say is that it's going to revolutionize the train industry. And I think a lot of people aren't like seeing this. Like when you drive a Tesla, there's like these hidden things that they show very, very discreetly. But if you are of that avenue and you know about it, it's like, oh, that's like very interesting. How so the people who created Teslas are of a good mindset in the sense of they're very futuristic, but then they still pay homage to those that came before us. So it's a good, yeah, I think it's a good position to be at, and it's great that now you can buy a used Tesla for like dirt cheap now, like literally the same price as the Civic. If people care so much about car stuff, sure, but it's like you have to assume that, like, again, your money is becoming more and more useless every single day. You might think, oh, yeah. So, again, you have to learn to adapt, because if you do not adapt, then you just perish with the others, right? Oh, nice. Yeah, that's an empty lot. Was the Loudon Fair thing. Plastic thing. But yeah, I find The Tesla event was like, again, it was like no frills, just all about just showcasing what we got. That's why they didn't have to do whatever. The robot stuff, oh man, that was kind of cringe, not gonna lie. But I see what, like, I think they just have to show off like what their robots are doing more and more, you know, just like the slow progression. It's like a good photo book, like, you know, like I just want to wait to the point where the robot is using other machines. That is what I'm most excited about. That when that occurs, that's when it's going to actually change the universe. Because if other robots, if the main robot can do other robot things and insert itself, that's when we're living in a cyberpunk world. And I don't know if, I think a lot of people are not ready for that. Because then it's like, you gotta realize, like, if in AI and all that, it's like it becomes seamless with the communication, you know? It's writing itself code to work into itself, right? Like if you had a Tesla bot controlling a Tesla car, you know, that'll be when the future comes to it, you know. I don't know if I feel like we'll be at Mars before we even get to that point though, so I don't know. I, for one, am very excited about the future because, again, it's like, it's not that it's like, will I buy the new Tesla Robotaxi and stuff? No, I won't. But it's like the mindset of, like, that's where it's going to be. So the next progression of technology is not even like the Cybertruck, for example, right? The Cybertruck is not the next progression in technology, just more features and stuff. The next progression of technology will be once, is the robots. Right now it's just like a bunch of play toys, right? Just a bunch of strippers, really. Just glorified strippers. Robot strippers. That's what I was like getting to it. I was just like, oh man, this is like hilarious. It'd be really good for the for the TV and movie industry, for background actors. Yeah, you see, it's like you don't need background actors anymore. You just have robots wear face masks and you know, walk around and not be real, which is like okay, I guess, because it's just a movie. It's like if you have, if you're a big movie studio, it's like if you're Warner Brothers, right? Ooh, that's what I'm saying. Like it's, you just have to be part of the future. If you're not, then I don't know what to say, because I mean, of course, people are still gonna want a nice hot meal, like that's for sure, made by a human. But you know, there's very few things that humans can and cannot do that a robot can do. Like for the bartender thing, you can just have a vending machine bot. It doesn't have to look human, but you know, for the whole humanoid thing, yeah. It's just like one of those things. Like I said, I am very excited about the future, and you just have to be 80% optimistic, like Elon said. You know, I think he's getting crazier, but like, who isn't getting crazier at this point now? Everyone's like, to be honest, everyone's going crazy, I think, unless you're like a baby that can't speak. But again, it's like you feel the aura of it speaking. Oh, that's another thing I've been working on too. On my LUTs, I've been working on the aura LUTs. And that is fun. I'll tell you what. Seeing how light works, it just like it gives you a perspective of like what it is and what you're making. So I just wish that the LUTs thing is that they built it in the camera with the photos. Because if they won't, then I'm going to do it anyway, because I already did it on the PC. It's just right now I'm just trying to think of how do I put it in the camera, but like I don't know how to. It's like then I have to like rewrite the actual camera software, and then it would like, you know, brick itself after a firmware update or something. So I don't know yet. That's something that like, that's like people who work at Sony type of thing, you know. We'll see how it works. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to, I guess this is like, I guess where I'm going to end off the video, because why not? But yeah, hopefully it was a good talk about whatever nonsense. Yeah, and I think I'm just going to like just do a redundant and endless series of just like let's crafting, because it's extremely fun. I see that I'm thinking about even buying the Lumix S9 or whatever, just so I can create my own LUTs in the camera. Like doing it on the machine, on the PC is fun, or the Mac or whatever, but I don't know, I think just using the camera like while it's live mode, and then changing the LUTs as is, you know, while you're in live mode, it changes the workflow and makes it just so much nicer. So yeah, that's like kind of what I'm working on too. I am doing the camera thing as well, but like I'm just now at this point I'm just trying to make fun camera glass stuff, because yeah, I mean nothing can really beat the manufacturing thing, and then the cost thing is like I'm just using recycled glass, so what do you expect? Make it more fun, interesting look. But yeah. What is it? It's the software, so anyway, that is, I guess, my plans. It was great, you know. If you don't have a Tesla, I would suggest you to try to get one. At least if you live in America, of course. Even if you don't, if they have it, you should get one. To be honest, the future. And every single day, I'm not spending money, right? It's just me like waking up and just like get into it. So yeah, it's like the best investment in terms of like buying back my time. So, and again, you can't buy time. You know, you can only prolong it ever so much. So yeah, good talking.